Hi, and thanks for joining me for the September 11th, 2022 edition of the Targeted West Conference Work Group, and my moniker is Targeted West. I'm DJ Chris, and I'll be your host and moderator today on a very special edition. This is show number 24. That means I've made 24 of these shows, and this is the show where I ask you, should I keep going or should I stop? And so far, everybody's told me to keep going, so I'll probably go another 12. I do it 12 at a time. That way I don't run out on you, and I don't like when people do that, just disappear. You have to have a plan. You can't start something and quit. So I'm here for a long time. So I'm telling you, I'm going to go another 12. Anyway, this is the Sunday show. I'm in beautiful Lodi. The heat is gone. It was 118 here, and my air conditioning stalls out because the PG&E was providing the park here with low voltage at 107 volts. It's normally 125. So our air conditionings here, most of our air conditionings in the RVs stall out because of the low voltage. So I'm over here burning up, and I learned an important thing. I can survive 118 as long as I drink water and stay in the shade. I got through it with fans, water, the pool we have at the park I used, which I never do. People were using, so I've got my gas can on order, and I'm going to get that generator I have going, and they said to use it at the park because they sent us notices, so it was really bad. That was soul-breaking, man. And the civil unrest, well, I should say criminal unrest, not civil unrest, is going on all over the world. This crazy inflation. People can't afford the basics, the power bills, the electric, your hydro. Your services are crazy high. Food is high. Everything's out of proportion if you're watching this in posterity. But humans still survive it somehow. We do, and that's a good thing. So off with the show. Our first topic is and by the way, I'm not a violent person. I'm a man in the middle, and I don't spew hateful or anything that would cause people to do violence or be hateful. This is just an information show about the Fourth Industrial Revolution, 4IR. You can read more about that by doing a browser search and looking for the Fourth Industrial Revolution. That's what this synthetic telepathy and the dreams I get, the telepathy, which is the terrorists in my head that haunt me, and others on this call, because that's what this is about, synthetic telepathy, are trying to break us down. So I just pick some topics to keep us busy in the call. The first one is interferometry, and that is used by satellites to gauge time and space with things in space, but they also use it on the ground. There's a radar version of it, or it is radar-based, I'm saying. And they have several websites and colleges that talk about it. And it is possible, someone said in Quora.com, that it is theoretically possible to use interferometry, the laser or microwave, to beam onto a window and then have a local source decode it and pick up your talking inside the building you're in, which is why all secure facilities have no windows. Okay? But even if a satellite wasn't involved in interferometry, then you could use the laser microphones directly on the earth and on a ground level from across the street or down a ways. And you can pick up people's voices inside the home. So we'll talk about that more. That's scary. So my question is, can you use interferometry in conjunction with a laser microphone or with the technology to listen to people talking? And further, are they using it to track us and is a part of the brain entrainment, the, as I call it, remote entanglement. Is that what it's about? Um, that's a topic is interferometry, and can a satellite do it? And the answer is no. There's a thing called you can't hear anything in space from space, which is true. There's no air in space. There's no way to reflect the sound. So there's not enough signal to decode someone talking from a satellite. So it has to involve ground-based systems. Next topic, I'll let you get in here. Oh, we got a few people already. Next one is today's September 11th, 21 years ago. I had a profound experience, as you all did, watching those towers fall, and I was going to spend exactly 10 minutes telling my 9/11 story. So anyway, I rented my house, my family's house for my dad. Moved in that time before 9/11, and MacGyver McG and I were living there, and got a Dalmatian and chilling out, walking around. Everything was great, and summer was a little warm. September came along. It was cooling down. I was just, chilling out, and I'm in the living room, and someone calls and says the towers are falling. And I go, that's interesting, because I just saw Don Rumsfeld on TV the day before on September 10th saying it was a matter of life and death that $2.3 trillion was missing from the Pentagon. And the next day, of course, I find out the towers are crashing and that the Pentagon accounting system got hit. Okay. So I knew the day before that something was up, and then the 9/11 happened, and I was already woke to it and figured it out. But then, wait, there's more, because my story will continue about how I know for a fact 9/11 was used as a reason to take our liberties and rights away and hack our brains and everything else, our technology, our cell phones, our computers, our TVs, our life, or the people around us. So my 9/11 story. So I watched the towers falling for days. The pot dealer came by and sold me some weed, but it was a different kind of weed. It was making me not sleepy. And what I found out is he took a crisis and put some drugs in the cannabis and got me high. And next thing you know, old DJ Chris is on drugs in his house after 9/11 because it broke me. It caused PTSD, as it did with others. It caused a lot of people to start drinking again, drug again. Plus, you have to remember, during that period, it was the dot-com bust, and everybody was depressed where I lived in Silicon Valley, and all the cities were broke. So were people. So it was already a depressing time financially. Okay. So I end up on drugs, and a storm comes. And I'm on the drugs, which my neighbor, the DA prosecutor, was watching my house. And I told him I had a problem before. So he'd been watching my house, and he knew somehow that I had relapsed, but didn't offer me help. Instead, I think he got together with the DA boss, the sheriff, which is in the same building in the county recorder's office, found out who owned the house and what we owned, my parents, and decided to take me down. And of course, they had to have a way to make it so my rights wouldn't be violated. So they brought in the Patriot Act on October 23rd out of nowhere. You think they can write all those pages from September 11th to October 23rd? No, it was already waiting at the DOJ from what I found out. They just found something to apply it to. And then they had the license. And that storm came in January. It was 2002 January. We had an okay Christmas. And I'm laying in bed and walking around on drugs, of course, and I can feel somebody watching me. I can tell. And I hear this helicopter way off in the distance in this heavy storm. And basically, it's above my house, and it was an EC-120 French Hummingbird Eurocopter that the sheriff was using. It was all blacked out, literally above my roof, and a guy hanging off the landing gear with a round degaussing type of device aiming it at my roof. So he was either training my DNA resonance or he was trying to x-ray my house because the DA had narked on me to the sheriff and they were going to get that big bad druggie off the street. Because you have to understand, Steve, the DA, was a recovering alcoholic and he'd lost his ability to practice law for a while. And he was just starting again, and the lowest job you can get is at the DA. And he wanted to make money quick. We found out there's grants available and stuff through the DEA and the DOJ to come after people like me who have a small relapse. He went for it. You know that. He was greedy for money. He kept telling me he wanted money, want to buy a house. He coveted my house, which in the Bible is something you don't do. You cover your neighbor's stuff. So, helicopter is above the roof. We go outside, me and Mac G, and wave at the helicopter, and it disappears. Never see it again. 3-4 days later, I'm still in this relapse. I'm in the hallway with all the doors closed because I can tell someone's watching me. I hear this, "Hello, F word. What are you doing in the hallway?" And there's a voice coming from my fixture in the hallway near the bathroom. And I was shocked. I wasn't shocked because, like I said in my book that I wrote, TargetedWest EPUB, which is a Cold War next door, and my synthetic telepathy on Amazon, I wrote about this. I knew about it in 1974. Someone who worked on the Telstar project told me that they can hack into brains. So I knew about that. So it didn't surprise me, but then it surprised me. And then they interrogated me on everything about my life while I laid in bed. And it was the worst time of my life, trying to get all your secrets so they can do something to you. So they thought that the druggie probably had secrets because he was doing drugs and I was hiding something. I didn't find anything, but they twisted everything out of context. And then they went away. But they kept talking, and I went over to that attorney's house, and I asked him for an AA book to see what his attitude was. He gave me the AA book, and I went to some meetings, and I got sober and cleaned up, and that helicopter saved me because I've been drug-free for over 20 years, thank God. Okay? But the telepathy never ended. So apparently, I'm now being overtly targeted through technology in 2002, but apparently, since my father was a Freemason, I think I've been targeted since I was a kid, because I know I've been affected or manipulated to do things, stupid stuff, and, that's how they do it. See if I did in 10 minutes. Woo, doggy, I got 2 more minutes. So 20 years later, I still got the telepathy. I started this call to help people, and 21 years later today, and we still are in a state of emergency in this country as if it were 9/11 yesterday, and all of your rights have been taken away still, and they haven't changed it yet. And I think that's sad. So anyway, I sobered up, kept in that house, fixed it up. The attorney died. He moved, bought a house, overwhelmed himself, and died because he had a bad liver and he was on a waiting list. But I think he was still drinking because my neighbor told me, and his wife was on pain pills and used to pass out in the bathroom, and I'd have to crawl through the window to save her. These are the people that reported me. Say, they were so dirty. They just rented this house, and I'm like, I was born on that street. So, I got the Keystone cops coming by too in these beige clothes. They all wore beige clothes like idiots, and they even had a beige dog. And they kept coming by for a few days. And then I had an X-ray van. 2 different ones come by my house, X-ray me while I'm in the house. I come running out of the house. I go, what the F are you doing? Chase him down the street, and there's this big fat guy in the back of a green silver Chrysler caravan, and the door slid open. This big machine pointing at my house. There's a big fat guy with a belly sticking out, aiming it at me with headphones on, and I come chasing after him, and he goes, no, and he slams the door closed, or electrically, it closes, because it's electric, and zoom, skid mark. I never saw them again, because they knew not to mess with me. I never get gang stalking because of that, because they put in the report that I don't cower. So anyway, that's my 9/11 story. In 10 minutes, you're listening to DJ Chris, and this is Targeted West. This is your Sunday night call of tranquility and peace. No drama or screaming or yelling. Just cool times. The chat room is where it's at. If you are watching me on BitChute, YouTube, or on archive.org or through Twitter, then you don't get the live action with the chat room going if you go through a browser. It's pretty cool. I think you can get on the app too on your cell phone. So come visit with us. It's freeconferencecall.com/wall/targetedwest, and you can join us on Sundays and give us your what your opinion is about things, and how do you feel about this new fourth industrial technology, which some of it's been around for 100 years. They're just using people like Elon Musk for this stupid brain device in the back, Neuralink, and they wire it up in your head. They're just using him as the front, and then they're going to introduce this old technology to everybody as an alternative. So you don't have to type on your computer or speak. Do it all in your head. People will line up. Trust me. You think I'm crazy? People will line up around the block and pay a lot of money to be the first to have that technology in their heads. Okay? Back to the laser mics. So I said interferometry could use laser mics or lasers as a laser mic technology. Well, independently of that, and Mac G mentioned this on his shows he watches, they use laser microphones. But the police, military, and intel use laser microphones on your window. You can hear what you're saying inside with a direct device. It's on a tripod, and it points at whomever, and it can go a few blocks. It's a laser. And that's on the TV, and then I found websites that sell it to private detectives and law enforcement and everybody. So can you imagine having someone listening to your talking in your house using a laser microphone? So if you have a chance, go to my Twitter page, TI Club 3, and you could go see the link I put there and check out the laser mics for sale and see them yourself live. So can you believe that? Isn't that crazy? And then I'm going to double up on that and talk to you about a movie called The Voyeur. Go look that up, the trailer, which I have on my TI Club 3 Twitter page. Or you could go directly, if you don't like Twitter, you can go directly to YouTube and look up The Voyeur or The Voyeurs. And it's a movie, and these people are sexy looking, live across the street from an engineer, scientist, and his wife. And these two are watching these sexy people do their thing and put on the show. And then the engineer scientist guy decided to use his laser microphone to listen in, and these people across the street were doing skits. I can't tell you anymore. You got to watch the movie. It's called The Voyeurs. Hope everybody's well. Let's do a peep out and see. Oh, wow, it's a good crowd. Everybody's here. Very nice. Next topic you can talk about, if you'd like, is the hand signal the Illuminati uses. That's this. Have you seen this guy, Josh Harder, in this area? He does this all the time. The triangle, that's an Illuminati hand signal, or a secret hand signal, because apparently hand signals and stuff have more power than talking does in many countries, which is kind of a trip. But they do this. Beyonce does it. Um, Everybody does it. Go look it up. Go look that up. It's a triangle hand signal. It's an Illuminati hand signal. It's used right in front of your face by musicians and entertainers and movie people, people of power and substance. Trump does it. The other presidents do it. Yeah, it's the Illuminati triangle hand signal. Go check it out. I hope you're doing well. If you're watching me on video, I appreciate you taking your time. I need a little sip. We're at Shasta Cola this time, which is a local favorite here in California. Next subject matter is in game theory, which I've been told is not of value, which is BS. It's called the prisoner's dilemma, and the prisoner's dilemma in military and war is a game theory that basically has two prisoners, and if one narcs on the other one and he gets out early, but he still has to go, and the other one has a longer period, that's a dilemma he faces because he'd be narking on his friend. So, but that's not used for that. It's used for game theory and processes. And it's another little game theory process you can read about, which I put on my TI Club account, and you can check that out on Twitter for more on the prisoner's dilemma. And that is definitely used in military and war. Excuse me if I cannot at the top of my head remember the details. I get mind and memory erased a lot. Plus, I'm older and have memory issues. I admit to that. It's not all them. I really don't like giving them any credit if I can. I don't know why, but I just don't give them or they any credit. One last item before we go to open mic is a hot new movie out called MK Ultra. Go check that out. The trailer's on YouTube right now or wherever you look at videos, and it's just simply called MK Ultra, and it's about the history in Mississippi and other places in 1961. That's the list. Everything's written down. There's no scripting. I do this kind of like as a memory trick for myself. See if I remember what I look at. So if I can even get through the day by showing up and talking on the mic, I mean, that's pretty good. So we're going to switch to open mic. That way you can talk. And then I'll throw in 3 more subject matters while you have your open mic to talk about. Okay, you're all good to go if you want to talk. The mic is open. All the hoggy microphone people aren't on this call anymore. Somehow I ran them off. I don't want to be rude, but there's a group of people that go from call to call and talk for 2 hours each. And I think they got the hint that this is a study group and we like to take turns talking. It's just not a 2-hour one-person talk. Not even I talk 2 hours. And I try to keep my mouth shut. Less is more. So go ahead if you want to talk. Open mic.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to tell you my brother passed away, and so I called TAPS. It's military counseling, well, actually grieving when you've lost a loved one that's been in the military. And I found out some good news. There has recently been a CAP law, CAP law, that is going to help keep veterans that have been involved in chemical abuse. So look that up on your computer and see if you qualify. And hopefully they'll also have some laws coming out to help the civilian population. Okay, that's all I have to say. May God bless. And this is Corky Grimes.
Thank you very much for your input. Open mic. Anybody else want to speak on the September 11th edition of the Targeted West Conference? So it's been 21 years since September 11th. And you see all the dog and pony shows on TV with everybody saying we're going to keep our country secure. Next subject matter on the open call is neurocommerce. That's my exclusive thing. And neurocommerce, in my case, like yesterday, they kept asking me if a certain bank, if I ever did business with them, they keep bringing them up, this certain bank. And they brought up a restaurant, 2 different restaurants, an automobile company, and a credit card company. And they even tell me when my credit card's due. And when I'm typing the payment, they go, "Oh, thank you." So that's neurocommerce. Try to get me to eat at a restaurant. Try to get me to buy a German car from Belgium, where the Illuminati started, where the family that owns it, the Quant family, their great-grandfather was a member of the Nazi Party and was the Führer of the military. And now I've got them trying to sell me cars in my head. So the Nazis don't change much. They just change their venue. Is all they did. I mean, how do I prove that? I don't like German cars at all. I like American trucks. So it's not psychological or mental illness in my case. I have no interest in those cars. Like they used to tell me they were the Illuminati. I didn't even know what the Illuminati was until they brought it up. I still don't really believe all that stuff. But, you know, you hear whatever you hear when you have the synthetic telepathy by these terrorists in my head that just don't seem to want to go away after 20 years. Then I was influenced before that by technology to buy things and act a certain way as a kid. And absolutely crazy that this has been going on so long, even though I call it the Fourth Industrial Revolution. It's been going on longer than that. Most of the technologies, they're just lumping it all into that, saying that's a World Economic Forum saying the Fourth Industrial Revolution. But we've had different revolutions. The first, second, and third, I won't go into details. But the first was the industrial, I believe. And it just goes on and on and on. The computers were the third industrial revolution, I believe, and the second was the automobiles. I guarantee I'm wrong on that. Open mic. So neurocommerce, that's what I'm getting. Are you getting that too? Next subject matter, attention chat room. A prostate judge. What's a prostate judge? Oh, probate. Oh, hey, caller. Thank you. Thank you for that information. I can't see. I don't have my lights on. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Name in the chat room recommended a book which we talked about earlier. It's called Battle for Your Brain. And I think it's Viral Serb is the guy's name, and it's on Amazon right now, and you can buy it. And we reviewed it. It's like a really good go-to book that explains a lot of different technologies and situations we go through. So that was Name in the chat room that presented that to me via email. Open mic.
Hi, Chris. It's Becky. I just wanted to say hi. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello, Becky.
Yeah,
hey, Chris. I hear.
Marcus, you're here. Marcus, hey.
Hello. Hi, Becky. Sorry.
Hi, the person was just trying to lock me out of getting into the call. I had to call several times to get in. They were trying to block me from calling. So I'm going to start documenting it now, how many minutes it takes me to get through on calls and stuff, because this is happening too much. I don't know what I'll use that for in the future, but I'm getting really tired of, my freedoms being held hostage by their their methodologies or whatever you want to call it. Sick and tired of it. All right, that's all I had to say. Hi, Marcus. I'm sorry. I'm just upset about them trying to block me from my calls.
Hello, Marcus. Marcus, are you doing better?
No, actually, Chris, I'm not. I'm doing a little worse, but I'll hang in there. I'll survive life, and God will judge me like I'll judge me.
God will judge you a lot nicer than you judge yourself. Be easy on yourself. You're your worst critic. You don't have 6 hungry cats, and my Lucille left me, and I got the crops on the field. 6 hungry cats, dude.
Well, I mean, 6 hungry cats. That's like the same as one big dog. I mean, as far
yes.
as food, foodie.
I was overwhelmed with the cats, but we found somebody to help us. And they got them all adopted and got all the kittens homes, and they're on TV and everything and have websites. And so sometimes when you're overwhelmed and things aren't working your way, sometimes it's best to put a hand out and ask for help.
So what, like, your cats, are they siblings or?
Yeah, they are, literally, except for 2, they're all related, yes. And one is a lot older, but his sister had them, and she's not fixed. And they all look like Fluffy, who's my main kitty. And they're beautiful black cats, and I have one that's Siamese.
Oh,
yeah. They're all beautiful, and I'm getting them fixed and neutered, one at a time.
I once had a pure black cat, and we named him Blackjack. It was a him, and he was pure black, and he was long-haired cat, and but I think he got killed by a dog.
Yeah, our cat's original name was Captain Jack, and he's black and white. Yeah, big fluffy cat. Yeah, the dogs and the coyotes get them here. We have the coyotes that come through, so the cats come through my sleep in the RV. But 6 cats that spread out all over the place is pretty good. So.
Do you let them outside and then they run back into your house?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
They even know when our truck comes up. They run to the truck, and I'm like, I have to stand outside and push them away. I go, get away from the damn truck, you fools. Which worries me. They're going to end up under a tire, which has happened before here twice. So, I have to keep an eye on them. But there's no traffic here. I'm in the middle of nowhere in the farmland, and no one drives here.
I would say cats always have quick wits about themselves, but they don't always have wisdom. So they might sleep inside of a car and get cooked when the car gets turned on.
My orange kitty sleeps in the engine. You are correct. We have to open the hood up every time we drive and look underneath and check. Everybody thinks we're crazy for opening the hood and looking before we drive. I think our truck's broken down, I bet. But you know what? I don't care what people think. I got to make sure the cat's not in there.
Yeah, I would double check. Yeah, I wouldn't want to fire up the engine when the cat's sleeping inside the...
No, that wouldn't be... Mentally, that would be a breakdown for me. Hey, Marcus, do you ever watch CNN and Anderson Cooper?
Yeah, they had Anderson Cooper on Channel 1 when I was in high school in 1997.
Whoa, well, you know, they bring him up in my head all the time. That's the next topic. They keep saying, do you like Anderson Cooper?
Yeah, it's kind of like, do you like Oasis, the band?
No, and I don't like I don't hate Anderson Cooper, but I'm not into him or CNN, and so I can't be my mental illness for hearing the chanting of Anderson Cooper in my head because I'm not into him, which explains again how can this be mental illness when I'm not into him? It's not subconscious. And you know well, listen, well, hear me out. He was an intern for the CIA. So once CIA, always CIA in my book. Do you agree? He admitted being a CIA intern. And guess what he said? Oh, and yeah, Anderson Cooper's bloodline goes to the Vanderbilts and a lot of deep, deep, deep history. You are correct, Setsa. Yeah, so they chant him in my head. Do you get any of that, Marcus?
Well, Anderson Cooper used to be with Lisa Ming on Channel 1. We'd have to watch it 15 minutes in the morning at high school every day on the TV in the late 1990s. Lisa Ming.
So they were infiltrating and using Anderson Cooper on you early.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know, he said he was an intern, and he said that wasn't very James Bond. It was kind of boring, which is a crock of bull. I think through Vanderbilt and his father and family who burned through all their money. I don't know the history, but it's quite interesting that they keep bringing him up. So that was my...
Well, Cooper's, their original place was in Brittany, and they were barrel makers. Like my family, the Hopkins, they were barrel makers as well. But Coopers are more renowned barrel makers than my family line, the Hopkins.
Cooper's mother is going for Vanderbilt.
My DA was the name Hopkins. Go ahead, sir.
I say Cooper's mother is Gloria Vanderbilt.
Yep. And she married some dude with the last name of Cooper, and I don't remember his lineage, but, you know, she fell in love and the family didn't like it, but they did anyway. So it's probably his bloodline, and a lot of very rich people get involved with the CIA when they're in college as interns because they figure rich people are worldly and have a lot of connections and such, and, you know. We're doing pretty good. We're at 7:40 and doing good. One last thing here on the open mic is the TI book club that we have here at Targeted West. That's hashtag TI book club on Twitter. And our current read right now is Annie Jacobson, The History of DARPA. That's my current read. I'm on page 100, and I'm right at the point where they are making hydrogen bombs that are too powerful and almost blow their asses up, and other things. And I'm getting around page 100, and Oppenheimer and other people. So I'll tell you more as soon as I get into the electronic part. There, I'm in the early 40s, 50s bomb part. So it's a 365-page book, so I'll be at it for a while. So if you want to buy the book, that book is 84% off on Amazon, $2.99 for a book that's 84% off about the history of DARPA is a bargain. So go and get it before the sale ends.
Okay, what's the name of the book again?
It's The History of DARPA by Annie Jacobson. Annie Jacobson. If you got $2.99, go buy it. It's worth it. It's kind of a boring read. I have to be in a mood to read it, so it's probably not that great of a book if I'm not sticking to it. But it's got a lot of data, a lot of technical stuff. Marcus.
Is Annie A-N-N or A? How do you spell Annie?
A-N-N-E. Or Ann Jacobson. I say Annie. Ann Jacobson. A-N-N-E. Jacobson.
Yeah, I can spell Jacobson, but Ann or Annie is a hard one.
With the targeting we go through, I'm surprised we can spell anything. I'm surprised we made it this far.
But Jacobson, it's Jacobson or S-E-N?
I put S-O-N. I don't know. You'll have to go find out. It's The Pentagon's Brain is the name of the book, and it's right there in the chat room for you, Marcus. So please go to the chat room for more information.
What do you think happened on 9/11?
Airplanes hit some buildings, and an airplane hit the Pentagon, or something hit the Pentagon, and another plane crashed in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, in 2001. That's correct. Do you think that the airplanes could demolish the Twin Towers?
Well, there's a group of engineers that say it's physically impossible, and some people claim that they had explosives in that building that went off because it was like a demolition. It went straight down, just like Building 7. So, yeah, there's many mysteries about this, which I don't normally plan on going into, but what do you think?
One known important fact that maybe you haven't heard, Donald Rumsfeld from the George Bush Jr. administration, the defense secretary, he said on September 10th, 2001, that there was like $20 trillion that were swindled
2.3 trillion
from the government.
Yeah, I talked about that at the beginning before you were here. You are correct. He was on September 10th on C-SPAN, and he said it was a matter of life and death. 2.3 trillion are missing at the Pentagon, and he was talking about these old systems that don't communicate with each other, so they don't know how much money they lost. And then the next day, the Pentagon building got blown up where the accounting system is. What's up with that, Marcus?
Well, I know one side of the Pentagon got destroyed by the airliner. You know, like the passenger airliner that Al-Qaeda flew into.
No, there's no pictures of that airplane hitting the building.
Well, I think they were kamikaze Al-Qaeda.
Actually, they were Saudis.
Yeah, and then the president of Saudi Arabia offered George Bush, I remember, I watched it real time back in 2001, when the president of Saudi Arabia offered George Bush $10 million, and George Bush declined it. Do you remember that?
I don't, but you can enlighten us on it.
Well, George Bush said Americans don't need Saudi Arabian funds after the 9/11 attacks.
Oh. Well, some people are still doing business with the Saudis, and, you know.
But my belief is Isn't it weird that the third tower, besides the Twin Towers, went down, even though it wasn't struck by a terrorist?
It went down after 5 p.m., yes, and it never got hit.
So that's important information to know, because it might have been proximate mines or dynamite, and not just international terrorists that struck them down in New York City.
We will probably never know the real narrative, will we?
So, DJ Chris Howard, how long have you been targeted for?
20 years. And maybe longer.
So, 2002?
Right, like I said, right after 9/11. 9/11 happened. Patriot Act got signed on October 23rd, and my targeting started right after Christmas in January during a storm.
My targeting started November 10th, 2011.
Oh, so you came in the anniversary of the 10th anniversary of 9/11. So you're a late bloomer in that case.
Well, it's been quite a while, and they've remotely assaulted me over 4 million times.
Your testimony is important to us.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead, sir. Well, thank you, Marcus, for your input. It's sound and informative and timely. So we're looking at around 10 to 7, and
Are you living in a RV or a mobile home or a mansion?
Well, I am not going to do the interrogation on my call. No.
I'm not interrogating you. I just want to know. I ask questions a lot. My mom said I should be a reporter.
I live in a hole in the ground.
Well, it looks a lot nicer than that, for sure. But I'm just saying, my mom said when I was like 10 years old, she said, Marcus, you should be a news reporter because you ask so many questions. And I thought about it. I really thought about it.
Anybody else would like to speak on open mic?
Well, Chris, I want to say thank you for showing your face, man. That's bravado, It's like courageous, TI. I'd like to pat you on the shoulder because you show your face and you talk a lot.
I'm the only one that has a video conference in the TI community, except people on Zoom.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
People don't want to show themselves because a lot of people and organizations act like they're the CIA, and I have nothing to hide, so I show everything. I don't really care.
Well, good for you, man, and good for the TI community.
Because I'm helping them by recording them, putting them online everywhere. So in 10, 20 years, someone will listen to us and go, oh my God, that was all going on back then. So, it's for posterity mostly, is what I'm trying to do.
Well, I have a court arraignment on the 27th. One of my housemates charged the police on August 5th that I did a 5th-degree assault by threatening when I said in my bedroom I want to kill them all. But I wasn't talking to her. I was talking to the perpetrators in my head. So I'm not sure if I should plead guilty or not guilty or get a private attorney.
I'm sure you'll make the best decision possible.
Marcus, I have an opinion on that. This is Becky. I think you need to stand in the truth. It doesn't mean that you need to tell them what was in your head, but I don't think that you should confess to something that you're not guilty of.
Well, I don't feel guilty, in some way, but then in some way I feel guilty because I drank too much alcohol when I was targeted with remote neural monitoring and manipulation.
Well, have you researched what the penalty is for getting prosecuted for something like that? You need to research that and find out what that might mean for you. That it could be very serious.
It's a misdemeanor. It's a misdemeanor. It's not even a gross misdemeanor. It's just a misdemeanor. I could do 90 days for that, and then the count 2 is disorderly conduct that night when I was drunk, and I could do 90 days for that too.
Are you drunk right now?
No, not right now, but I have been.
Yeah, but
Thank
the whole
you.
point is that I wouldn't say that you were directing that at people. If you were not directing that at people, you should not. I don't think you should confess to something. That's gonna.
No, you're right. I'm gonna plead not guilty.
Once they get you down on something, down on something, then you're had. They got you forever.
Yeah, my dad too. He was an attorney. He died in 1989 from a direct energy weapon that caused a brain aneurysm. They had a device in the wall right by his bedside, and they murdered my dad. But he always told me and my brothers to never plead guilty, but to plead not guilty.
Yeah. That's all I have to say is if you were not directing that at people, you shouldn't be saying that you were. If you were not directing that at your roommates or that girl or whoever it was, then you should not be pleading that you did that if you didn't do it.
Well, okay, so one of the housemate, said he recorded me making a threat at him on video, and he said he was going to show it to me, but then he was a jerk, and he might have assaulted me again for like the 5th time.
Can you wrap this up, please?
Okay, I have another comment to make on that. I have heard that people have to ask you if they can record you audio and all that before they do it, if they want to use that in court. And if they don't ask your permission, then I'm not positive, but I think that you can get that thrown out and they can't use it. If they did not ask you permission.
That's good information for me to know. Thank you.
I don't know for a fact. You need to check that out for yourself, but I'm pretty sure that they have to ask you permission.
Yeah, and they've treated me badly. The 2 years I've lived in this disability house, targeted by cyber stalkers. They're skeptical and they call me bad names. One of them even said, "I hope you get raped up the ass," like you said you get raped up the ass. So
you know you're being recorded for posterity. Thank you, Marcus, for that. That's awesome. Keep going.
So that was way out of line for her.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening to our 9/11 show that got interrupted. 9/11 happened 21 years ago. It's a very sad situation. So our situations are very sad, including Marcus's. He's been through a lot of stuff, and so is Becky, and I wish them nothing but love. And I just need to end this recording. And I probably am not going to have the recording stay on YouTube. It's probably going to get censored out, which I don't know if you guys intended that on purpose to fuck me up, but I'm probably sure you did, and that's really not cool. Okay? So we're in Q&A mode now, and I can see why James keeps it in Q&A mode, because when you put it in open mic mode, like I say, there's these group of traveling people that go, I'm not editing it, I'm going to put it on the internet. People, these groups of people that go from call to call to call, and then, you know, it's their show. Yeah, I'll probably edit it. I have my editing software. I think I'll just keep it in for fun. That's okay. You're allowed to speak about your experiences, Marcus, but your roommate reacting to you being drunk is not a synthetic telepathy or dreams issue. I don't know who puts you up to these things, but I'm very suspicious of many people right now. You know, I've got people telling me to fuck off. I've got other moderators that won't have anything to do with me. I'm pretty much blacklisted by the whole community. So, you know, it's like, I don't really care. Say whatever you want. I'll just put in Q&A mode. That's fine. So let's finish this out before it gets ugly. You can find me on BitChute, of course, which they will probably not ban me on there, which is why I chose that. The YouTube is only my backup because I don't trust them, because they erased me and Ramola and many other people off there. So you can find me on bitchute.com. You can find me anywhere on targetedwest.com, and then the YouTube and archive.org for posterity. So, yeah. 9/11 is the day. What experiences have you had? We'll keep going with this call and share our experiences that we went through, which is a very good thing. I want to thank you for spending your time watching this video on your preferred platform, and I appreciate it. I hope to see you tune in for this video itself next week, which is the 18th. I'll be talking about the Turing test, the Alan Turing test, which I will not explain. You'll have to come back to the next Sunday show on 9/18, and then we'll discuss another subject, the Milgram test, which is torturing people remotely, and how authoritarian people can push you into doing something you don't want. So we'll be talking about that on the 18th. So I'll appreciate you tuning into that. Any last comments for anyone here?
Yeah, I want to ask.
So we have one more minute, and then we'll go ahead and stop the recording. And we have open mic, and there's Marcus. Hello, Marcus.
Hey, DJ Chris. I want to ask if you were my neurologist and I told you I was implanted with neuroprosthetics, what would you do? Like to...
I don't have that situation. I wouldn't know. how to confirm that. But have you been doing that yourself?
Well, I emailed.
So who's putting you up to this?
I emailed my neurologist about the remote operators remotely assaulting me, and he didn't give me a straight answer, so he's a little chicken shit.
So he's not good either. No, nobody's good in your life, you poor thing. It's 7 o'clock. Thank you for watching the video.
Marcus,
we'll see you next week.